Ever wondered what life was like for the very first humans? We talk about our towns, our cities, our online groups. But what did community even mean for our ancestors hundreds of thousands of years ago? Forget skyscrapers and Wi-Fi. We're going way, way back to the dawn of humanity to explore the earliest human communities. It's a story of survival, cooperation, and the very beginnings of what makes us who we are today. Let's start with the basics. The earliest human groups, like Homo habilis and Homo erectus, were small nomadic bands of hunter-gatherers. Think of a group of maybe 20 to 50 people, constantly on the move, following the seasons and the herds of animals they hunted. Their world was vast and unforgiving. Survival wasn't a solo mission. It was a team sport. Living in a group was their single greatest advantage. Why was group life so crucial? First, safety in numbers. A lone human is pretty vulnerable to predators like saber-toothed cats or giant bears. But a group? They could work together to watch for danger, fend off attacks, and protect the young and the elderly. The simple act of having more eyes and ears made everyone safer. It was the original neighborhood watch, just with much bigger stakes. Next up, food. Hunting a massive animal like a mammoth or a woolly rhino is not a one-person job. It required planning, communication, and coordinated action. Some members might drive the animal towards a trap, while others used spears to bring it down. And once they had this huge source of food, it had to be shared. This sharing wasn't just about being nice. It was a survival strategy. The hunter who was successful today might be unlucky tomorrow. Sharing ensured that everyone ate, strengthening the bonds within the group. And it wasn't just about hunting. Gathering was equally important. While some, often the men, were out hunting big game, others, often women and children, would gather edible plants, nuts, berries, and insects. This provided a more stable and reliable food source. This division of labor was a game changer. It meant the community had a diverse diet and a better chance of getting through lean times. Everyone had a role, and every role was vital for the group's success. So, where did these early communities live? They didn't have permanent houses. Their homes were temporary shelters, caves, rock overhangs, or simple structures made of branches and animal hides. These campsites were the heart of their social world. Imagine a group gathered around a crackling fire at the end of the day. This is where the magic really happened. Fire was more than just a source of warmth and a way to cook food, which, by the way, made nutrients more available and food safer to eat. The campfire was the first living room. It was a social hub where people shared food, repaired tools, and most importantly, communicated. Around the fire, they would share stories, pass on knowledge, and strengthen their social ties. This is where culture began to form. They learned from each other, taught their children how to make stone tools and which plants were safe to eat. These early communities weren't just collections of individuals. They were complex social networks. They cared for their sick and injured. Fossil evidence shows skeletons of individuals with heel injuries who wouldn't have survived alone. This tells us they were looked after by their group. It's early evidence of empathy and compassion, qualities we value so deeply today. They also likely had rituals, perhaps around births, deaths, or successful hunts, that brought them closer together and gave their lives meaning. From these small, wandering bands of hunter-gatherers, the seeds of civilization were sown. The cooperation, the sharing, the social learning, all these things that define the earliest human communities are the very foundations of our modern societies. We might live in a world they couldn't possibly imagine, but the fundamental need for community, for connection, and for cooperation is a legacy they pass down to every single one of us. So next time you're hanging out with friends or family, take a moment to think about those ancient campfires. You're participating in a tradition that's hundreds of thousands of years old. It's what helped us survive, thrive, and eventually build the world we know today. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this fascinating, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more explorations into our incredible human story. See you in the next one.